You're listening to Hustle and Flow, a podcast to inspire and bring together female actors and artists in the entertainment industry. I'm Heidi, an actress, female fitness coach, and self-love junkie.
And I'm Kesley, singer-songwriter and social media influencer. Are you ready to manifest your dreams? Let's get started. Stephanie Pattison is a holistic and hormone health specialist for women. She has a master's in science from the American College of Healthcare Sciences and has worked in the holistic health realm for the last 3 years.
She is extremely passionate about using food as medicine and prevention for disease in the body. Her belief is that God has given us everything on this earth that we need to fuel our bodies. Stephanie has single-handedly healed her own gut and as a result has improved the quality of her health and her life. Stephanie is so passionate about helping others do the same, and in this episode, you will experience my candid conversation with her about my own gut health. So if you're ready to laugh your ass off and learn a lot about your body, let's get right into it.
Let's do it. So Stephanie and I went to high school together in Florida.
Oh, wow.
That's how we know each other.
Okay, great.
And now she's a badass.
Yes. Was she not a badass before?
She was. She definitely was.
Yeah, I'm trying, doing what I can.
Yeah, no, you're amazing.
You seem like a badass. I was reading over your bio and I'm so interested to hear about hormone balancing and all
I've been
sorts of stuff.
I've been introducing Heidi to all of these things. So I'm glad that you're here to talk more about them.
Yeah.
And everyone needs to know about this stuff.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna do something that I've never done before on this podcast. So
what is that?
Do we have to wait for it?
Oh, this is great. I love that people
so
use
great.
our podcast to come out and do crazy things. So great.
I'm so excited
I'm
now.
crazy, honestly. It's just I've never actually really gone into my kind of story, I guess.
Wow. Oh, yeah. I don't even know anything, so I'm really excited to hear about it.
Okay,
well,
so
let's get started. Stephanie, you currently live in Florida.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And then obviously we're in Georgia. But what are you, I guess we'll just start right off from the top. When did you decide to get your MS, Master's in Science? Did I say that right? I didn't know what an MS was before this week.
Yeah, Master's in Science and then in Holistic Nutrition.
In Holistic Nutrition. So why did you decide to do that and why?
Why did you?
Did I just say that? When did you decide to do that? And why?
So I don't know if you remember back in high school, but I was super athletic, and I feel like that really kind of catered and kind of carried me to really dive into how I was fueling my body in order to perform. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't really a health disparity that led me down this path. It was honestly just that it made sense to me, and that it made sense that, if I eat clean, then I can sprint faster type of thing.
Yeah.
I played soccer, I ran track in high school, and then just even going from there. So I got into college. I wanted to get a health science degree, so that's kind of what I was going for. And then when we graduate, I feel like a lot of us kind of hit that, okay, so now what type of thing. And I feel like I hit that hard, super hard. I was at my parents' house. I was I don't know what to do. Honestly, I was just I feel like I need to narrow down my degree, because health science, that's so broad. I feel like I was kind of being pushed into a hospital setting, and that's really the last place I wanted to be.
Right.
So I was researching, grad school, what could I possibly do? And I really wanted to do the holistic realm. I knew that from honestly when I entered college. So I really, really did my research, and I spent time on that, trying to find the right school. The American College of Healthcare Sciences is out of Oregon, Portland, Oregon, where holistic healthcare is actually accepted a lot more. It's actually just this year that Florida has really accepted holistic healthcare as health care, which is nuts. So that was a huge win for Florida. Just this past month, DeSantis signed the bill, and it's active right now. So I'm legal. I can help people, but it's incredible. I'd been helping people for ever since I graduated college. Obviously connected to a chiropractor, so I was able to do that. But yeah, it's been amazing, and I've seen so many success stories, but yeah, that's really why I got my master's, and here I am.
How does holistic health tie into overall health?
Oh my gosh, it's everything. It's everything. And I feel like some people think when they hear holistic health, they're like, oh, so you like play with herbs and like, you know, and essential oils. And I'm like, that's all good. It is. It's great. I'm more geared toward a medical standpoint. I deal a lot with nutrition. I deal with a lot with how you fuel your body internally with what you consume and how you digest it. And honestly, my degree and my master's degree I did a lot of science. I had biochemistry, inorganic and organic chemistry, a lot of physiology with the body, how your body works and how you can fuel it to work. And again, it made complete sense to me, you know, and
Yeah.
it can even tie in how our creator gave us things on this earth to fuel our bodies to live, you know. Like,
I love that.
None of this synthetic stuff makes sense to me. It's man-made. Right. We can't live off of it. We cannot survive off of it. And we've seen illness nowadays that we never saw before, you know, and people wonder why. And it's all in the products.
Oh my gosh, it's so true.
Wow. Okay. So many things popped up for me. Like you said, organic and inorganic. So I want to know, like, okay, should I really be spending the money and eating organic food? And then I also want to talk about the digestion and how that impacts your life. So let's go there.
Okay. So, I mean, digestion is that you hit the nail on the head. That's me. I love gut health. And honestly, I've never done this before, even shared this, but I would love to share my story.
Please do.
Yes, we want to know your personal experience with this.
Yeah, just like super personal here. But I actually healed my gut personally through my education and what I knew and what I've done with myself throughout the years. I'm definitely still a work in progress, but it is possible. And now I'm like on a mission to educate people about the gut microbiome and how you can really heal that and heal your body. So one important thing that I feel like no one really thinks about, and you've probably never been asked before, is what your birth story is. Why does that matter? You know, like why would we even need to know that? So I'm going to share mine really quick just to kind of like connect the dots.
So cool.
My mom was actually, I was almost a preemie baby. So I was pushing out of the vagina, at like, at like 32 weeks, which is very premature. If, for those of you who don't know, you're, usually coming out at 40 weeks is a good time. So she was sent home, put on bed rest, and then pumped. Was on a tributylene pump, tributylene is a highly toxic chemical. And it's funny because when I was researching it, it was talking about how it was on the blacklist, or is that even what's called, black box warning. And I asked my fiance Jordan, who's actually a medical doctor, I was like, what does that even mean? And he was like, that means that it's a severe warning, highly toxic. You should not be on it unless like something serious is happening. And then I like put it together. I'm like, my mom was on a tributylene pump on bed rest for 4 weeks while she was pregnant with me.
Wow.
4 weeks, this woman was being pumped full of a highly toxic chemical. Okay. So you can only imagine like the repercussions of her, but not only her, but of the infant inside of her, the child. So, 36 weeks came along. The doctor was like, all right, let's get you off this pump, brought her into the hospital, took her off the tributylene pump. And she was like, all right, let's get ready to give birth. Now, when you're on tributylene, that's like stunting the whole birthing process. You're trying to stop the baby from coming down the canal because, we don't want you yet. We want to stop that from happening. So the second she's taken off of that chemical, her body's so confused. It's like, should I try to have the baby? Should I not try to have the baby? Like, I don't really know. So my mom was stuck at 8 centimeters dilated for 36 hours.
Oh, God bless her.
Isn't that insane?
Oh.
And like thinking about that, I'm like, wow, this woman is just, I mean, we are just strong, so strong as women, but just like, it's nuts. And then you think about the internal stress and, you know, like effects that probably had on her and me, you know, like and even the doctor even put a cap on her stomach to test, to see how I was doing. And he literally goes, Lisa, my mom, we got to get this baby out. She's in high distress, like high distress. So then they hit her with an epidural, more drugs.
Wow.
To get me out of there, to get me out of distress. So that is honestly my birth story. And knowing that, I'm like, that is why I've been dealing with a lot of gut issues, a lot of gut issues. You know, I've had bloating. I have a lot of food intolerances. I have, you know, I'm pretty sure I'm dairy intolerant, you know, all of these things that, I mean, majority of the time today we see a lot more of, but even still knowing that I was susceptible to highly toxic chemicals in the womb, you know, wow. And then you get out and, you know, you know, these other repercussions. And luckily I'm on a path where I can heal myself. And I have for the most part. And you really gotta, you know, be intuitive. And I would encourage everybody out there to really kind of know, and ask your mom, like, what was your birth like? Like, what was my birth like?
Oh, yeah. Interesting. My sister is 2 years older than me. Her birthday is October 30th. My birthday is October 29th. We almost have the exact same birthday. We were both born 2 weeks late to the day. Like, I was supposed to be born on October 14th. She was supposed to be born on October 15th. We were both 2 weeks late. So I wonder what the story is behind that, because my mom says that she had natural childbirth. So I don't know if that was planned or what, but that's very interesting.
Yeah, no, it definitely plays a vital role, along with all the toxicity that we're hit with today anyway, but just knowing, you know, how you were brought into this world.
Wow. So how can you know, two questions. How can you know if you have gut issues? Like, what if you just don't know? Like, what if like you're just not aware, you know, like some people, they're carrying a lot of pain, but they don't know they're in pain because that's their baseline. So how would you know? And then how does gut health affect you?
Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, if that's your baseline, then if we're in pain and that's our baseline, you got to get checked, at least so if you're in pain as far as, you know, stomach cramping, bloating, discomfort, pins and needles, it's a lot of gut issues that we're kind of looking at with intolerances. Obviously, if you're in chronic pain, muscular wise, then that's kind of a different area. But yeah, I mean, and being intuitive, I would say, is super important. So growing up, I learned to be extremely intuitive with myself and just kind of, you know, maybe eat a little slower so you can kind of see how food reacts and how you react to food. Or even this morning, I was kind of reintroducing coffee back into my diet. And it's like, I was taking maybe like 1 to 2 to 3 sips and I would feel so dehydrated. And I never felt that before, you know, drinking coffee. I would just, you know, drink coffee. But it can dehydrate us to an extreme. So, I mean, I always tell people to be drinking water while you're drinking coffee, but just like slowing down your life a little bit, which I feel like we all have kind of been discovering, being in this time right now. But yeah, just, I mean, gut issues are so common, especially with all the toxicity that we see today. So I would just say kind of slow down, see how you're reacting, be very intuitive with yourself. And if you experience symptoms such as the ones that I mentioned, majority around your gut area, then you should really think about getting tested.
Yeah. It's so funny that I feel like the word bloating and like people feeling bloated and women feeling bloated is such a natural, normal thing, but that is something that should not happen, right?
Not at all. Yeah. I mean, we always talk about that, especially around our cycles as women, either before, during, or after. So in your in your premenstrual phase, or during your cycle, and then your luteal phase, or your ovulation. Any time we can get those symptoms. But yeah, knowing that they're not normal. It is not normal to get bloated, to have constipation, to have hormonal acne on your face, to have hot flashes. These are all really premenstrual symptoms that we experience, and they can range from very subtle to extreme, and no matter where they are on the scale, it's not normal.
Yeah. Would you be open to sharing a couple of the symptoms that you experienced and what you did to begin healing from them when you were healing your gut? Yeah.
So I experienced extreme bloating to a point where it would literally look like I was pregnant. And that can be symptomatic for a lot of things, a lot of maybe endo or PCOS or something like that. So I would definitely get checked if it was to an extreme. But I knew that it had to have been something that I was doing. And I just kind of checked my diet. It was actually during a time where I really like to push myself to extremes. I also love to try like all the fad diets and things like that, just in case I have a client who's on one and I can relate to them. But I was doing keto for a while, and that's, your protein level is going to be really, really high. So I was eating a lot of eggs and a lot of chicken and turkey and, greens and all of that. And once I was coming down from keto, I noticed that like the whole time my stomach was not okay. Like it didn't vibe with me. And I was like, this is so weird. I'm eating real food, like I'm eating real food, like eggs are real food. I'm not eating anything synthetic. But it turns out once I tested myself, I was highly intolerant to egg whites and egg yolk. And that was what was really tipping my gut off. And I was not able to break that down for whatever reason. I was lacking maybe some minerals and vitamins that I needed for my digestive tract to be able to break it down through the intestines and things like that. And once I cut that out, I haven't eaten eggs for I think like 2 years now, which is weird. Guys, I literally thought that I would, like, once I found out I couldn't eat eggs, I was like, my life's over. Like,
I can relate. I did that too. I started eating eggs again, and I want to stop because I love them. So, I mean, I want to stop because I know that it totally causes issues, but they're so good.
It's one of the top allergens, right?
Well, I was like, my breakfast is over. I'm never going to be able to like enjoy breakfast again. Yeah, honestly, it can really just kind of deal with like the proteins in them. So there's like a casein protein in eggs and stuff like that I just don't think my body can break down. Everybody's different. I mean, it could be because of my birthing story, my experience. My body's still highly toxic from a lot of chemicals. Yes, it can. I'm 26 now. It can take that long. Well, plus being younger, you suffer from ear infections, and, as a mom, you want to do the best for your kids. So I don't blame her at all, but we were put on antibiotics and things like that. And that can also deplete your immunity and really wreck your gut. Wow. So, knowing what I know now, obviously I am very careful and things like that, but yeah.
So you introduced me to the intolerance test that you have been doing with lots of women. Can you explain what that is and talk about the intolerance test, why that's important, and then we can talk about our experiences with it as well. But can we explain that?
Yeah, so I actually worked in a clinic up in Tampa really closely with hormone specialist Dr. Geringer, and that's where I got to meet the CEO of Healthy Co Labs. I sat down with him on multiple occasions and really kind of got to know his brand, got to know his team. I'm someone who really likes to research products, but also know the minds behind them, because once you know the minds behind the product, it's easier to know their morals, ethics, and values behind the product, so I know what I'm getting with it.
Right.
So loved them. They were great. So basically what it is, it's a hair analysis test. So you're able to test IgG antibody reactivity to foods, metals, non-environmental toxicity, environmental toxicity, and then vitamin and mineral imbalances. So you're getting the whole gamut with this test. Honestly, a lot of people just want to take a metal test and it costs like $300+ just for metals.
Wow.
So I really, really wanted to make this affordable for, you know, our generation and even younger generations, because I'm so preventative. I totally believe that it starts now and with us and with the younger generation as well. And to not get to that, you know, when we're in our 50s and 60s and really, really struggling, and, you know, you spend the money now and you won't be seeing the thousands of dollars in the future.
And this test was not, I did this test. It's super easy. You just like put a few pieces of your hair in a bag, send it off, and then Steph calls you and you talk about it. It's really easy and it's not that expensive, because prior to hearing about this, someone had recommended me like a stool test that cost the same. I don't think you get as much information. You had to do a lot by yourself and it's gross.
Right.
I'm just curious, how much is it?
It's $200, and that includes a 45-minute consultation with me. So I really like to go over the results with clients. I mean, if you want to obtain the results and, you know, scratch me, that's totally fine. You can do that as well. But I feel there is a lot of value to the test, and for you to obtain the value of it, I would love to, you know, read it over with you, just so you're like fully understanding and getting everything out of the
Well, I did a food sensitivity test and it was $400, Everlywell.
Yeah.
And honestly, I felt like it wasn't really accurate.
You didn't think so?
No, I mean, honestly, what I got back, because I'm a fitness coach and so I'm big on following meal plans, right? Like every Sunday I make a meal plan and I eat what's on that meal plan and I don't deviate, right? Well, I send in my blood. Josh had to prick me. My boyfriend had to prick me. Send it in the mail. It might have even been $500. Okay. So $400 or $500. I get the results back. It's every ingredient that was on my meal plan to a T. It was literally like my meal plan. And so I was like, there's no way. There wasn't anything that wasn't on the meal plan. It was everything in my meal plan, literally. And I was just like, there's no way. Like, it must have just picked up food that is in my blood. Is that right?
Yep. So IgG reactivity tests not for allergies, but for literal sensitivities. So what you're probably seeing, Heidi, is that those are the highest foods reacting in your body. Because if you're meal planning and you're eating them every single day, that's your body saying, hey, this is what I'm eating. This is what's reacting. So really, you really need to look at inflammatory markers. So maybe like dairy, sugar, grains, gluten, you know, those processed foods, or those like really highly processed foods that you want to look for in order to cut out. I think Everlywell actually does like an acute section, and then like your lower intermediate type of reactivity. So yeah, so I mean, my recommendation would be to look through your acute and kind of look for the inflammatory foods, and then cut those out fully for, I would say, 30 days and see how your body feels. But if you're looking at things like, you know, if you're meal prepping chicken and that shows up, I would still back off of it for maybe a few weeks, maybe switch to something like turkey or maybe another lean meat that you like, and then see how your body reacts. But be intuitive. You know, if you have, some people have a lot of like maybe cruciferous vegetables that come back on their acute list, which on my test means that you're 90% or more reacting to it. And when there's cruciferous vegetables on your acute section, that's an automatic red flag to me that we've got some gut issues that we gotta fix. Do not be seeing cruciferous vegetables or any really type of really leafy green on your acute section.
Spinach came back for me. Is that a vegetable?
Yeah.
It is.
Wait, it's called a cruciferous? Wait, syphilis?
Cruciferous.
Oh, what?
Syphilis. Cruciferous vegetables is what we're looking for. Those are going to be like your most nutrient dense vegetables out there. Those are the ones that are chock full of vitamins and nutrients that our body needs in order to survive. And I would never tell someone to cut those out.
Is spinach a cruciferous vegetable?
No. You got broccoli, you've got, I would say, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, kale. Those like really leafy greens that we all hate probably by themselves. So, yeah.
Did I have any of those on my test?
I do not believe so.
I don't think so. I had to cut out oatmeal though, which I've been eating for the last 5 years every single morning.
I know.
But I've been eating fruit. Okay, I actually haven't told you this, but I've just had fruit for breakfast, like just a bowl of fruit. I don't know if that's bad. I know it's a lot of natural sugar, but when I read Women Code last year or whatever, it was talking about that was a good way to like set your blood sugar for the day or something like that. But I actually don't remember exactly what it said. I might just be making up. Anyway, but I felt really a lot better. I feel like my body's detoxifying faster in the mornings and stuff, like going to the bathroom like immediately. Whereas before, I think it was like slowing me down.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the natural sugar is always awesome, and eating it in the morning is even better just so you can burn it off throughout the day.
So wait, how can we talk about poop?
Yeah.
Everybody's thinking it.
We've talked about poop before.
We've talked about it, and somebody is listening to this right now thinking, I hope they talk about poop.
And it's funny because I asked that at my consultation, don't I, Kesley?
Mm-hmm.
I like literally, and it's so funny because some people will get like weird about it, and I'm just like, guys, really, I love to talk about it. It's literally can tell me like a lot about what's going on in your gut, like
okay, great,
all your bowel movements.
Yeah, so great. I want to talk about this.
How often should we be pooping?
You should have pretty regular bowel movements. I would consider would be like 1 to 2 a day. And you shouldn't be like, taking the laxative or even drinking coffee to make that happen. Mm-hmm. Your body should be able to naturally be excreting the toxicity in the foods out. Yeah.
What about taking Mag-07 or a magnesium supplement regularly to help your bowel movements?
I would agree with that. I mean, I feel like consult your physician.
Mm-hmm.
But
I take Mag-07 and it's literally the only thing that helps me be regular. Like, I have issues, honey. I'm your next client.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like I don't want to hear you say like I have to take it in order for me to have a bowel movement, because that's not natural, and that's not how that's not how our body is meant to be, like, and I'm sure you don't want to rely on something for the rest of your life to have to go,
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because I feel like there's phases and I'm like, well, what did I do? Because I'll have like a nice, healthy, beautiful situation. And then I'm like literally just sitting there thinking, I'm like, what did I do today? This is so good. And I'm like, nothing. I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
So
how much water are you drinking?
I drink a gallon a day.
Okay, good.
You got me onto drinking a gallon a day. We both have our giant water bottles.
I would say more like when I am having problems, it's because I'm probably dehydrated, but also whenever I'm traveling, forget about it. If I'm traveling, honey, like my boyfriend and I, this is so TMI, but it's okay. Yay. Okay, my boyfriend and I just had our anniversary, all right? And so we went on a trip to Colorado and we went camping. Ooh. Homie, for like 3 days, I could not go. And yeah. Is Chris here right now?
I think so.
There's a guy in the next room. And literally like on the day of our anniversary, like we were going to go on this 10-mile hike and I was crying because I was like, I can't go on that 10-mile hike because I have to poop.
Oh, that's so unfortunate. I love hiking.
Boyfriend, God bless my boyfriend. He's like, that's so weird, but he wasn't like, he was just like, just
Did he poop the whole time?
He poops so much. He poops 3 times a day.
How do they do it?
Easier. They just are. They don't have to deal with all the hormones and like, the anxiety, and they can just like go wherever, Like, you'd be surprised. Stress and anxiety is like, I mean, that's huge for your gut.
Yeah.
So for your gut.
Yeah. And so it's funny because even last night, so I just went on a road trip for like, literally I drove 3 hours a day, 6 hours a day, like for a week straight. I was on a tour visiting family, and I got home and I like have not been able to go for days, and I hate this. Okay, this is so TMI, but it's okay. Okay, so last night at like 2 a.m, I'm crying because I can't even sleep, and so I'm looking online at affirmations to help me with this because I mean, for real, like desperate. And so I found something that was very helpful. It was talking about how constipation is
totally linked to not letting go in life, not letting go of control and anxiety and stress. And so the affirmation to help you go was, I release. It was just like, I release with joy or something like that. But it didn't help.
Wait, so did you recite that and did it help you? She goes, no.
Wanted to believe it. I was sitting on the toilet 2 a.m. and I'm like, I release with joy. I release with joy. Crying. I release with joy. Yeah.
Wow.
One of those.
Oh my gosh, that makes me feel.
I have a squatty potty. I have a
It didn't
whole
work. I'm
situation.
Yeah, it's a nice squatty potty.
Yeah, we need to look at your gut then.
Okay, this is going to be our most played episode of all time.
I want to ask, okay, we're talking about now stress and anxiety having an impact on our gut and on our pooping and our health. And I just want to ask, what are some tips for women that you have to help with maybe making some healthier life decisions for balancing stress and anxiety, balancing hormones in general that they can start now that are easy?
Yeah. So, I mean, what I just talked to Heidi about, water is so huge, which you girls already know, which is awesome because that's literally how our organ systems, there she is drinking her water, how our organ systems function, like we cannot, we're not able to function at our optimum level without hydration. It hydrates every single organ in our body, our skin, which is the largest organ on our body. And it will literally, hopefully to help you have a bowel movement, or you can, recite your
Affirmations.
Yeah.
Is your dog a boy or girl? Is your dog a boy or girl?
She's a girl.
Yeah, those were her affirmations. She was just reciting.
But, dude, I knew that was going to happen too. For women, I think that sleep is also extremely important. I know that it's huge for me. I know that I need at least 8 to 9 hours to function. And what's great is that there's actual study done, and it basically states that women need more sleep than men. Lucky us. So our hormones pretty much control our entire bodies, along with our gut and our brain. It's all connected. So knowing that, we need to obtain proper sleep to help regenerate our cells, for our bodies to work, and for our hormones to work. It's the whole deal. So eating to fuel your hormones kind of looks like consuming a lot of amino acids and then a lot of proteins. So if you're, not consuming a lot of animal proteins, then I would suggest consuming lentils or nuts, nuts and seeds. Hummus is really great. Just really getting that protein intake. So that's what's going to fuel your hormones, and that's what's going to fuel, especially around your cycle, and the cruciferous vegetables that we talked about earlier, and protein. That's really what we as women need to be consuming in order to be leveled and zen.
I know you said that you've tried pretty much all of the fad diets. Like, are there any specific diets that help with what we're talking about in regards to hormones? And is there a certain way you should be eating at different points in your cycle?
Yes, no, that's super. That's what I've actually been trying right now, is eating for my cycle. But to answer your diet question, I do try all of them just so I can relate better. However, I'm never for one diet. I always tell this to my clients, to eat intuitively, which means, how am I feeling? How am I feeling after I consume something? Also taking an intolerance test for your knowledge, to be able to know like what you should and shouldn't eat, or what you should cut back on, or what you should introduce more of. And then plus having that vitamin and mineral deficiency imbalance portion too. I can really hone in on what we need to supplement your body with, and how we can do that either with food or supplementation.
Okay.
But
And that's through the hair test.
yep, that's all through the hair test. Yeah, so it's all right there for both of us to kind of dive into, and then we can supplement your body accordingly. So I love it that it does it like that.
It's so crazy because I've been like wanting to find a doctor, like a holistic doctor to go to and pay all this money for, and maybe my health insurance will be on, maybe not, I don't know, whatever, but I need to go to a doctor to get checked and like make sure I'm eating right. Like, why am I breaking out, or why do I feel stressed? And then you come along and it's like, oh, this is exactly what I needed.
And your skin looks so
It's looking
good.
really good.
Is it?
Yes.
It is.
I'm so excited.
I know. I'm really excited.
You've been on such the journey, and honestly, I have to give you props for really keeping at it and being so determined and motivated, because honestly, my job is difficult in the sense that I can give you all the tools, but it's up to you and up to the client to actually move forward with them. Whether that's like buying supplements that I recommend, or it really is a mind game. So like mindset plays a huge role as well in this holistic realm. You really, and Kesley, your mindset has been like 100%, you know, I'm going to stay away from the processed sugar. I'm going to change my breakfast in the morning because it looks like my body's kind of reacting a little highly to one thing than the other. So I just need to change things around. And that takes a lot of discipline and, you know, and motivation to be able to do that. So luckily, you know, but not so luckily, holistic healthcare is not covered by insurance. So if you're going to go through with a holistic practitioner, then you really have to be committed, you know, and I feel like it takes that, you know, handing over money to be committed for some people. You know, you have to pay for something in order to be like, all right, it's happening. Like, I'm doing it and it's happening. And I love that, because those are my people, and I'm here for you, and I'm here to see you through. And like, we're going to do this together, because if that's your mindset, I got you.
Yeah.
There's a saying, you pay attention to what you pay for.
Yeah.
It's true. I mean, if I gave away free workouts, they would just sit in people's inboxes and they wouldn't actually do them. You can go on YouTube and find a free video and see how far that gets you.
And you know what's crazy is I'm totally that person that like, I will pay for someone to tell me what to do, because it makes me motivated, and it makes me do it. You know, like, I'm not gonna like, it's really hard for me to just like sit here and be like, okay, I'm gonna pull up YouTube and like really push my potential with my workout. Like, I have to have someone standing over my head being like, up the weight, do this, like, we're doing this. And I do it all, and then I feel great afterwards, but I'm definitely that person that needs that, you know, constant motivation and like, hey, like, this is what we're doing.
Right.
Oh yeah. Do you have a morning routine, night routine, daily routine for supplements and how you eat as the day goes on, when you wake up in the morning, before you go to bed at night, to prepare your body for what it's about to do? Do you have any routines in place?
Yeah, honestly, before bed, I mean, I'm pretty simplistic. I really don't do much, but if I'm working late, and you guys can see right now, I'm wearing blue light glasses. I really, really believe in those, just so you're not having that constant blue light in your face, especially before bedtime. It's really hard to like, for my brain and my eyes to like shut off. And I'll even like notice when I don't wear them, my eyes kind of get really dry and just like, I don't know, like
Yes.
But also I shut my water intake off around like 5, and I also eat dinner around like 5 or 5:30 or 6.
Oh wow.
So I eat dinner. I try to eat dinner super early, just so my digestion can settle and I can digest properly throughout the night. I really try not to consume anything else after 7 o'clock.
Is that because your body is upright and so it's moving down instead of eating late and going flat?
I feel like there's a lot of different things that people want to attribute to that. I couldn't tell you. I mean, it's definitely in the research. I think you're onto something, which is really true. I noticed that it really helps me. And I even have kind of gone the extra mile to just have a protein shake for dinner instead of eating a whole meal. And I think that really works with my body. So even I think the past, like, I don't know, I want to say like 4 weeks, my fiance, and I actually have been doing a protein shake for dinner instead of an actual meal. Like we'll go out to dinner and stuff like that sometimes too, but just to promote healthy digestion. And then you wake up and feeling super energized. And I've noticed that like I've woken up feeling super energized, ready to like work out. And then I'll usually eat in the morning around like, I don't know, like 10 or 11.
So you do intermittent fasting?
A little bit. I mean, I've definitely tried the full, like 8 hours. So like I've done like, you know, eating dinner at like 6 and then going to sleep, and then I won't eat again until like 1 p.m. Yeah, which was fine for me. I think that worked. But
so you would consume all of your daily calories and a full gallon of water from, or even like during that period from like 1 to 5 or 6, and then, but like now it's like 10 to 5 or 6.
Yes. Yeah. And I would honestly, I would still drink water during the time that I was intermittent fasting.
Okay.
Like
you drink water when you wake up, have your you don't have coffee.
Not really. Not really.
Can you talk about that? Because I love my French press. Josh and I have like a literal like ongoing romance with our French press. There's like, this conversation is sacrilegious, and I feel like my boyfriend can't hear it.
Jordan and I actually embarked on this 30 days to healthy living with Arbonne. So we loved that. And we did a shake in the morning, we had lunch midday, and then a shake in the evening. And we finished our 30 days. Like, I think we did the whole month of July. So it's been a few weeks now, but I have continued to not drink coffee. And honestly, it's really not like I try to not do it. I just haven't for whatever reason. I also struggle a little bit with anxiety. So I noticed that when I have really busy days, I do not need to consume any type of coffee or caffeine intake at all. It does heighten my anxiety, and I know that. So, but honestly, it's like I said, I feel like I don't really think about it, and my digestion's moved a lot smoother. And you know, that coming back to talking about fecal matter, my poops were like super solid without coffee, and I loved that. It was great.
That feels great. Always feels great when your poop is solid.
Huh. Yes. I was having super solid bowel movements and totally TMI, and it was amazing. So if you are someone who's a little on the sluggish side, and you feel like you're doing everything right, like drinking lots of water, working out, getting decent sleep, and getting decent movement during the days, and you're still kind of finding like you're sluggish in the digestion area, I mean, definitely try to do an intolerance test. We would really want to figure that out, but also cutting out caffeine could be the key for you.
Yeah. Whoa.
What's your Venmo? I'm going to send you $200 right now.
I have it. I'll give it to you.
No, say it here so the people who are listening can Venmo her.
Yeah, if anyone wants to send me money, I'll get to you a text. But
what is it?
My name, STEPHANIE Pattison, PATTISON.
Perfect.
Right, we'll
so if you're interested in this, just send her your money right now. She'll get to you in the order in which it is received. So urgent, send it now. Urgent to get your spot.
Oh my God.
I kind of want you as my like personal like.
Good. She's good. She's a good hype woman, good saleswoman.
Yeah, that was good. And then
well, if I like something or if I believe in something, why not share it with everyone, you know?
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And honestly, I totally believe that everybody should take this test, whether it's for knowledge or symptomatic. It's useful to literally every single person. And, you know, it's just such a it's a beneficial test to have. And for, you know,
half the price of Everlywell too. So
yeah. No, I feel like I really did intentionally think about that and how to go about it, because I want to be able to cater to, you know, our generation of people and the younger generation.
Make wellness affordable. You know, I love that. I think that's good.
It is tough, because I will say that luckily I do have, you know, Jordan, he's a physician, so we have another source of income. But obviously, if you were looking to do this full time, that would be really, really tough. But I've been blessed to be in a circumstance that I am to do it this way. So why not? And, you know, share my expertise with the world and just really try to help as many people as I can.
Well, I'm so looking forward to doing this and sharing my results.
Yeah, no, your mind is going to be blown. Yeah, I mean, I loved looking at Kesley's and being able to help her, because I was like, and I'm so confident that, like, I mean, you're doing all the right things, Kes, you know, like you're really looking at your skincare, and pinpointing acne, especially hormonal acne is so difficult because it can come from like 10 different sources. And you just really have to continue to be persistent and really try to figure it out. So it looks like you got, you know, your non-toxic skincare and beauty products down, and then really the thing left was your gut. So just trying to get that normalized.
I've spent a lot of money for people to just kind of tell me what they thought, and like, okay, well, let's try this and let's see. And I've been like looking and waiting to do something or take some sort of test that told me, like, gave me exactly things that were actually going on in my body that I could work off of, instead of just, well, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. This is common for other people. But like, this actually showed me what's in my body. So that was extremely helpful. And it's been 2.5 years of me trying to figure this out. And I knew that I didn't want to, I was on birth control when this started happening. So I was already on one synthetic drug, and I knew I did not want to take Accutane or any other sort of like acne drug. And I was like, I'm not doing that, even though I was recommended that a few times. And I was also recommended to switching birth controls and just all this stuff. Like, no one was telling me, okay, well, maybe we can refer you to this person who can look at your, what you're eating. And because I knew, like, I know we can fix this naturally.
Oh, yeah. 100%. Yeah. 110%. So yeah, I totally agree with that.
Well, thank you so much.
Yes, we will link your Instagram in the show notes. And is that the best way for people to follow you and communicate with you, especially in getting the intolerance test if they're interested?
Yeah, honestly, I'm like, pretty much that's kind of how I'm operating nowadays. It's through my Instagram. So if you send me a DM, or in the link in my bio, there's my scheduling. So you can just schedule an appointment, and I don't have the payment on there set up. So honestly, once I see that, I'll reach out to you, and then we can do payment through Venmo. But yeah, so yeah, just DMing me, that's totally fine. And we can definitely get some paper results that you can really work off of.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yay.
Well,
thank you so much. Oh, we didn't ask about her. You have a podcast.
I do have a podcast. It's pretty slow, but yeah, it's called the Real and Raw podcast.
I love that name.
Real and Raw.
Yeah, real and raw conversation, and real and raw food, real raw lifestyle.
So good.
Yeah.
Great.
So, I mean, like I said, it's slowly but surely, you know, coming along. I'm slacking on the recording, but I have a lot of topics that people want me to cover. So I definitely will, but this has definitely helped my mindset game. So I'm excited.
Great. Well, if you're listening to this podcast and you want to continue the conversation with Stephanie, go check out her podcast, subscribe there. We will be sure to put that in the show notes as well.
Yay!
And until next time, hustle and flow.